I've added content to the other two columns in the articles section, and because I'd resized the document window before adding the nested rows and columns, Dreamweaver has automatically applied this class to each of the columns, col SM4. That means that they'll span 4 of the layout grid columns on small devices, but not only that, they'll also span 4 layout grid columns on medium and large devices because Bootstrap grid classes apply to higher levels unless overridden. So if we expand this to see what it looks like on a medium device, we can click just to the right of 960px in the Visual Media Queries bar. That shows us the layout on a medium device, and it's still in 3 columns, even though we've only got this single class col SM4. We don't need to add col MD4 because col SM4 will look after it. And if we double click in the gray area so that the document window fills the full width, we're still laid out using 3 columns, even though we've got only this one class. The only difference here is that this row is nested inside the single column of an outer row to prevent it from expanding too wide on really big devices. So that's what it looks like on small, medium, and large devices. What about extra small? So let's click the top bar in the Visual Media Queries bar. That will show us extra small. At 649 pixels, it's still fairly big, but I think I rather like it like that. But if we use this scrubber to go in a little bit, let's say round about 360 pixels, which is typical of a mobile phone, I think that that looks pretty good. So I'm quite happy with that. So all that remains now is to add the footer. So let's just double click and expand to the full width, and we need to select the element that contains these articles at the bottom. So in the DOM panel, it's the section with the ID articles. Select that. And then in the Insert panel, under Bootstrap Components, Grid Row with Column, we want it to go after, and I'm going to have only one column in my footer. So just click OK. It's added that and left it selected, but it's just used the generic div. I want to change that to being a footer. So in the tag selector at the bottom of the document window, right-click that div, quick tag editor, and change div to footer. So if we just select inside there, we can add a little bit of content. I'm going to add just one paragraph. So go to the Insert menu and select Paragraph. We want to nest it inside. It's added that paragraph inside with some placeholder text. We need to double click that to get into edit mode and then just add a little bit of text in there. And I'm going to give an attribution to the photographs. So all photos by, guess who? Me. And then just click away to exit edit mode. So there's the footer, but it looks a little bit sad like that. So I think that we need to style it. I'm going to use some colors. So I'm going to open the Assets panel, go to the Window menu and select Assets. And then in there, with images selected, select Colors Ping. And these are the 2 colors that we're going to be using, the dark colors at the bottom. So open the CSS Designer panel, and we need to create a style for footer. Make sure that Yosemite.css is selected and global in the Add Media pane. Then click the plus button on the selectors pane and it will be simply footer. And I'm going to add some padding to the footer. So scroll down. I'll use the shorthand 1M0. So 1M on the top and bottom, nothing on either side. That gives us a bit more breathing space. Then I want to change the background color. So I'm going to select background at the top and the background color. Click that color well. Then select the eyedropper tool. Go over here and select the bottom left color. Sample that and then just click away from the color picker and it changes everything. The text is now impossible to read, but we'll fix that in a moment. Let's first add a gradient. So under background image, open the gradient tool by clicking inside that color well, and then select the top color stop, and then the eyedropper tool, sample the bottom left color, and then the bottom color stop. Again, get the eyedropper tool and sample the bottom right color. It's a very subtle change, but that's it. And then we need to deal with the color. So we need to go to the text section and the color. We'll just zoom that up to FFF, in other words, white, so we can now read it. We'll change the font size. We'll make that 0.8 em. And if you hold down the Control key on Windows or the Command key on a Mac while scrubbing, you go up in increments of 1/10. So we can easily get to 0.8. That looks good to me. And then the last thing that we need to do is to text align in the center. And there is the complete page. So if we just get rid of those panels and go to File, Save All Related Files, there's all the handiwork saved. And if we look at the page, that's what it looks like on a large device, on a medium device, a small device, and on an extra small device. Let's just go in a little bit, make it more realistic, like a mobile phone. That's what it all looks like. Now, one little thing that I notice here is that on a mobile device, we've got rather a lot of these highlights. Maybe they're not always necessary. So in the next video, we'll see how we can hide some of them to save a little bit of space.